We now head to the courts where Justice Hamza Muazu of the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory has ordered that former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, be remanded in Kuje Correctional Centre pending the determination of his request for bail. Emefiele will remain in prison until November 22, when the court will deliver a ruling on his bail motion. His lead counsel, Mathew Burkaa, moved the application for bail, which Rotimi Oyedepo opposed on behalf of government. The presiding judge says a bench ruling could not be delivered in view of the plethora of authorities cited by the two parties. He adds that he needs some time to study the authorities and peruse the exhibits supplied by Emefiele to support his request for bail. To discuss this, we're joined by Tony Odiadi, legal practitioner. Thank you very much, sir, for giving us your time. Let's get right to it. What legal grounds or circumstances might prompt a High Court judge like Justice Hamza Muazu to order the remand of an individual of the caliber of the former governor of Central Bank of Nigeria pending determination of a bail request?
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you. The idea of remand in prison can be as a result of, just like his lordship had said, an opportunity for him to look through the case by the prosecution and see whether the application for for bail, has merit against the evidence and some of the authorities in support and against, which has been presented by both parties. One would have expected that Emefiele should have been given, a bail on some kind of self-recognition, but all bails are usually discretionary. The offense, which is held, the offense of fraud, is still bailable. And so his lordship may have his own, reasons. But just remember that Emefiele had just been released from detention not too long ago. And one would have imagined that his lordship will be magnanimous enough to still keep him enjoying that freedom. But since he has opted to take him back to some remand, you'll be wondering whether Emefiele's freedom might threaten the prosecution the case, because these are some of the reasons which a judge will consider whether to grant a bail or not, whether his bail will be a threat to the investigation, whether it will compromise the investigation, whether he will likely run away. But I'm sure his passport is with the agency. So, we don't know yet what is applying in the mind of the judge.
Interesting. In situations where a bail application is opposed by the government, as we've seen in this case, what criteria or factors does the court typically consider in deciding whether to grant bail or remand an individual?
The rules are clear. In order to grant bail, most offenses are bailable to start with. So you move from the fact that the individual is entitled to freedom, the Constitution guarantees freedom, even the ACJA, which is the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, guarantees the right to bail. In fact, there are copious sections that deals with bail. What the judge will be considering is whether the accused person is likely to threaten the investigation which may be ongoing, or whether he will jump bail, that is to say, whether he will leave jurisdiction, or whether he will compromise, other parties that are relevant to the case. If none of this is likely going to happen, the best discretion is to be exercised in favor of the accused person and granting bail. But we see a situation in which in the enforcement of the law, in the prosecutorial situations, the the judge would like to establish the fact that what he came about doing was not whimsically done. So we would like to go through the authorities and see whether there are reasons why he will deny him bail, or whether there are reasons why he should not give him, should not grant him bail. An application is before him. So these are part of the powers of the court. Like I said earlier on, if the accused person has been in detention for all this while, and the investigation has been ongoing for almost 2-3 months, and what you have is just a case of fraud, which is just mere prima facie cases. The best discretion would have been to allow him to continue on the bail condition under which the previous judge, Justice Oluka, they granted. So, but we don't know why.
I mean, a lot of Nigerians would expect that the personality and the fact that he's held such a high position in the country would have some, some leeway with the court. But that doesn't seem to be the case, considering the timeline that has been set by the justice, and that's for November 22. What options typically is available to a defendant if bail is denied, and what legal strategies or steps can a defense counsel take in response to such a decision?
Now, let me even start from the very beginning. There's a way we treat our public officials, which may be giving the wrong signal to those who want to do business with us. Nobody's above the law, but if you have people who represent some of your sovereign persons that within the international fora, the capacity or the profile and the integrity of the country is viewed. For example, the governor of Central Bank. We have to be very careful the kind of signal we give. When you have allowed somebody to occupy a position, and some of the things for which he's been tried may relate to, some kind of policies that he took as a chief executive. For now, initially we're talking about funding terrorism. That is off the radar now. Now we're looking at the issue of fraud, procurement and things like that. Now, nobody is above the law. But if, for example, he's denied bail, there's still a window. He still has the right to appeal against that denial of the bail. And the Court of Appeal may then grant him the bail, which the High Court may have denied him. So he has all that right up to the Supreme Court to keep searching and applying for his bail. I'm sure he's going to get it at some point,
But until then, he stays behind bars. That's what it's looking like. We certainly... we certainly look forward to what the courts will decide come on November 20, if I'm correct. Thank you very much, Kenneth. Tony, I beg your pardon for speaking with us. We appreciate your time. I'm sorry for the mix-up.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.